Hello everyone! A legend is about to return. Predator Badlands will be hitting the big screens very soon. And with the release of the story trailer, new details and new questions have emerged. The third film in the franchise under the direction of Dan Trachtenberg is doing something unique for the series, because a Yautja is now a full-fledged protagonist. At the same time, a crossover with Alien has become inevitable, and it seems we might see a cameo appearance in the upcoming film. In the next few minutes, we'll break down the trailer in full detail. And most importantly, we'll answer the question of whether we should expect an appearance from a xenomorph. Let's start, of course, with the main character. The film will tell us the story of a young Yautja named Dick, who travels to a dangerous planet for his first hunt. For him, this is a chance to prove he is worthy of his clan and the Predator's helmet. This explains why he lacks the traditional weaponry, which has been replaced by a bow, a sword, and shurikens. They look innovative for the series, but this has already sparked outrage among longtime fans of the franchise. And to prove his worth, Dick needs to eliminate the main threat on this planet. To do this, he teams up with a Weyland-Yutani android named Tia, which confirms a direct link to the Alien universe. Additionally, the young Yautja's target, which looks like a huge beast, is called an apex predator, as is clear from the character's dialogue. And this, in fact, changes the series completely, because we are introduced to the franchise's first villain, who is not a Yautja. Previously, in every Predator film, the main characters were humans being hunted stealthily, frighteningly, unexpectedly, mysteriously. This time, however, we will be following a protagonist from the Yautja race who is fighting an antagonist of another alien species. On one hand, this presents a new perspective and a breath of fresh air for the series. But on the other, such exposition completely changes the perception of the Predator. He is no longer the most dangerous and mysterious hunter in the universe. He is a character we are meant to empathize with. This is likely why he was made more human, talkative, and even emotional. For now, it all looks unusual to say the least and was surely done for a specific purpose, but we'll see how it's received during the viewing. At the same time, there is a logical explanation for this decision. If the film is indeed positioning itself as the first step towards a crossover with Alien, then it will need to have a central character. Making a xenomorph the protagonist is impossible from the start because it lacks civility. A Yautja, however, could fit this role. In this light, Badlands is a kind of experiment, introducing the audience more closely to one of the predators who could later become the central link in the crossover. Whether this is a good or bad thing, we invite you to discuss in the comments. But for now, let's get back to the details of the trailer. Elle Fanning will obviously be responsible for the film's humor and will serve as a link for the audience. Her android, Tia, is characterized as combat-ready. This is why she easily dispatches a winged beast in one scene and then gives a sweet smile. In general, Elle Fanning looks very organic in her new role. Considering that the Yautja are not particularly talkative, Tia will fill this gap. Moreover, she will learn the Predator's language so that the audience can understand what he is saying. Previously in the films, the Yautja only repeated individual human phrases. However, we shouldn't forget that they are intelligent, highly technological beings who have a written language that has appeared at various times in different projects. Therefore, it is quite logical that they speak their own language, however unfamiliar it may seem. The situation with the android is not so simple either. The fact is, during the announcement of Badlands, it was stated that Elle Fanning would play two characters, the twins Tia and Tess. However, the trailer clearly focuses on only one of them, and she is needed to become Tia's motivation to team up with the Predator in order to find her twin. This is also confirmed by scenes in which we see two Yautja fighting. One of them is a clan leader or an elder, while the second, as it has become known, is the brother of the young Dick. In the first teaser, it could be seen that the clan leader with white dreadlocks had apparently dealt with one of his own, judging by the severed arm and a puddle of green blood. It was unlikely to be Dick because he is alive and well, and in a later scene, we see a ship flying away. The clan leader, meanwhile, stands by and simply watches, so the young Predator will share the android's motivation to find his missing sibling. Of course, besides the fact that he needs help fighting the local fauna. Furthermore, Tia provides a direct link to the Xenomorph films. For example, in the scene where the android is activated, the Weyland-Yutani logo is displayed in her eyes, which is a reference to Andy's reboot in Romulus. And on the glass of the protective case, the word Mother is written, which is a reference to the very first Alien film, as that was the name of the onboard artificial intelligence of the ship Nostromo. The number listed next to it usually indicates the version. In the first film, it was 6,000, in Romulus it was 9, and here it is 62. This hardly means that the plot of Badlands takes place that far in the future. The surrounding Weyland-Yutani objects, carriers, and the pulse rifle look the same as in the first Alien films in Romulus. Therefore, it is more likely that the serial number means something else in this case. In the film, we will also learn more about the trophy room, because Fanning's character interacts with the skulls on display. It is likely that in this moment, Dec will reveal to Tia the reason and purpose of his presence on the planet. There is also a moment in the trailer with an exploding white sphere of energy. If this isn't advanced teleportation technology, which is of course doubtful, then it resembles a blast fired from a predator's weapon. However, Dec does not have such weaponry. This means there is a chance that another Yautja will arrive on the planet towards the end of the film, and it's quite possible that it will be that same clan leader. And now, of course, a logical question arises. If the film's main threats in the form of Giant Beast and the Elder are already known, why is a xenomorph expected to appear in Badlands? There are many arguments in favor of this theory. Ever since the film's connection to Weyland-Yutani became known, rumors have surfaced that we are in for a full-fledged crossover in which the Predator will face a xenomorph within the canon. The only question was whether this would be a separate project, or if the meeting would happen in the upcoming film. The Killer of Killers anthology and the trailer for the Alien Earth series have left some hints connecting the franchises to each other. Xenomorphs have not yet been spotted in the Badlands trailers, but clues are scattered throughout its content. The main idea is that the young Yautja is hunting an apex predator that is making him the prey in this situation. Although the trailer presents it as if it's about the giant beast we see in the footage, this could be a major misdirection. The fact is that in the extended lore of Alien and Predator, it is stated that the Yautja consider xenomorphs the ultimate test for a hunter. That is why the warlord from the Killer of Killers anthology wears a cloak made of xenomorph tails, which serves as the best indicator of his skill. It is effectively a cape made from the trophies of the most dangerous hunt. It is also logical that the young Dec is striving to prove his worth to the clan, which is why he chose a xenomorph as his target. If he can prove that he is capable of hunting and killing xenomorphs with the limited arsenal of armor and weapons that we've seen in the trailers, then his skill would be beyond question. This way, he would earn his place in the clan and the traditional Predator weaponry. Furthermore, the trailer ends with Tia's words that they might not be alone in this hunt. At that moment, we see a scene where a power loader is fighting a large beast. This mechanized exoskeleton is a direct reference to Ripley, who fought the Xenomorph Queen in a similar exoskeleton. The appearance of the power loader in Badlands is quite understandable, given the significant presence of Weyland-Yutani on the planet. But the fact that it is shown at the moment Tia says they are not alone in the hunt clearly indicates that the target was a xenomorph. A confrontation between the Predator and a xenomorph could be the film's climax and the hidden crossover we have heard about more than once. Moreover, in the Android reboot scene, at the very bottom, there is an indication that Tia belongs to Weyland-Yutani's bioweapons division. This division appeared in the film Alien 3, and its employees were engaged in specifically hunting xenomorphs. Towards the end of the trailer, there is a moment when Dec smashes one of the containers with a pursuer's face. In this moment, you can see that inside are the same tentacles that tried to kill him earlier. That is, we can assume that one of the most dangerous creatures from this planet has been placed in a container in a Weyland-Yutani warehouse to be transported from here later. This, firstly, explains what the corporation was doing here in the first place and why we see its equipment and androids throughout the trailer. And secondly, this refers us back to the Alien Earth series, where the entire plot is built on this very idea. Perhaps the ship that collected the most dangerous invasive species came from the planet of death. Among them, as we know, was a xenomorph, which is a serious argument in favor of its appearance in the new film. In any case, a large-scale reboot of Alien vs. Predator is inevitable. There are too many coincidences for two adjacent projects, given that both franchises are experiencing a new wave of audience interest. This could become the biggest event in science fiction cinema in recent times. Predator Badlands will be released in early November of this year. Let's hope that the director's fresh take will appeal to audiences and can bring the franchise back to the big screen for a long time. And in conclusion, it's worth saying that the Predator universe continues to evolve regardless. During Comic-Con, Dan Trachtenberg announced that an updated ending for Killer of Killers will be released, which will bring back the characters of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover. Dutch and Mike Harrigan are set to appear right after Naru. Thus, both heroes are alive and, in theory, could be featured in a future project. For now, be sure to share your impressions of the new version of the Predator and what you think of the new trailer. That's all for today, friends. We'll see you in new videos very soon.